These days we grow up thinking that maybe if I can just discover my way, if I can define my brand, my vibe, then I will know how to enjoy in this world and I'll be unique, uniquely identified. And often we'll turn around and say, that's not my way, or that's not me, that's not my way of doing things. By saying that's not me, we may think that it means I know the opposite, which is who am I, but actually we have no knowledge of who the real me is. Just like we think the distress is something I don't want. So then we think the opposite of it is happiness, which is what we want. We make this assumption in life. If I don't want this, then I want the opposite of it. But actually, Bhagavad Gita, Krishna in the very beginning of it, throws this idea out of the door. He says, Matrismarshasta Kwanteya, Shitoshna Sukha Dukkada, Akamapayo Nityam, Tam Satikshasva Bharata. He explains in there that happiness and distress are just coming and going like the change of seasons. And all he says you need to do with it is to tolerate it. So it's right out of the door in the very beginning of the Bhagavad Gita. It's not the purpose of life. And same, so this whole assumption that the opposite of what we don't want is what we want is wrong. In order to find out what we want, first we need to find out who am I. If I don't know who I am, I don't know what I want. So that's where we're stuck. We think knowing that's not my way means I know what my way is, but we don't. I remember an incident from school when we were just kids. We had to go to this party, and I didn't really want to go to this party. Neither did my friends, and we did everything we could to like just fake fall sick so we don't have to. But no matter what we did, put some hot water on our face or do whatever we can to like raise our body temperature, we could do nothing to fake our way or to fake illness. And I realized a lesson from a life lesson from there that actually you cannot even distress cannot come on your demands, let alone happiness. That is a life lesson that you cannot induce anything to happen. Everything happens on its own time. And this is where the challenge in life remains, because our goal in life is to exert our independence in being a unit of happiness and pleasure. Right? We want to be happy on our own terms and conditions. And the whole purpose of the material world is to destroy that endeavor. The whole purpose of the material world is to actually humble us so we can see our dependence on Krishna for any kind of happiness. We want to exert our independence. The material world's helping us see that you're not independent, you're dependent in your even in the life of a child. You can see the child wants to play by themselves, but they constantly need the mother to give them something. So we are dependent, and actually we are very happy when we find someone we can be dependent on. But there's such a label of negative label on dependence in this world today. It's all about being independent, but where has this independence led us? Other times we may think that, oh, maybe I can just cheat the system a little bit, and by cheating the system I'll get the happiness that I want. Like in boarding school, even though we weren't allowed to get out of campus, sometimes we would sneak out just to get some candy. And we had no idea of how much risk it was. It was just fun. And the ultimate goal was some candy. Luckily for us, we got caught pretty quickly and couldn't continue this whole endeavor. And I thought at that time, this is a real killer. Totally spoiled our fun. But years later, I look back, I was thinking, wow, it's great we got caught, because we were exposing ourselves to so much risk just for some candy. And that's kind of sometimes how we live our life. We approach happiness like a gamble. I'll try this, I'll try that, a little bit of intoxication, a little bit of drugs. Like in many countries, the cigarette box, will have a picture of rotten lungs, like infected lungs out there, but people will just still buy it because we want to sneak some pleasure out. We have this idea that we can get what is not ours if you're just a little bit daring. There's a I don't know if it makes sense. Like there's a kind of glamour attached to being daring. Oh, the person was so. Don't you do that as youth? I've seen a festival in Australia where people would just stand at the beach at the Yarra River, they just run and try to fly. And there's a river under it. So the whole point was grown people just coming with fake wings and trying to fly, and they just fall into the river. And it's like so bold, something like that. So there's some sort of a silly glamour associated with it. But glamour and advertising doesn't change the fact that there is consequences to our action. Karma, your karma that you bring into this world caps all the enjoyment that you can have. You may think you'll sneak something out, but you can't sneak out even one tiny drop more than your karma allocates to you. We have a pre-allocated amount of happiness and distress we can enjoy in this world. There is destiny and there is mentality. Both of these things exist. Destiny is kind of like, say, if you're a person and there's a dome or a sky, so each one of us has, like, say, a sky or a sphere that limits our actions, or a playground or playfield that limits our actions. We cannot, my sky or my dome or your playfield is different, but and we may feel like, oh, you have more than me or I have more than you. So our resources allocated to us or our play field allocated is different. This is called destiny. Someone may have more resources, someone may have less resources, someone may have a bigger playing field, someone may have a smaller playing field. But success isn't only dependent on destiny. There is also the factor of mentality. Within that play field, you're free to move the way you like. You can do whatever you want within the play field. So whether you want to live a life of spiritually progressive life, or whether you want to just enjoy the stuff that's lying around there and try and steal some stuff from someone else's place, that's up to you. That's your mentality. So a person who is Krishna conscious, a person who is devotionally progressive or spiritually progressive, they understand that their resources might be limited, but they know, they're completely tuned into the reality that I will use everything that I have, every tiny bit that I have, in the service of the Supreme. And through that mentality, the grace in their life increases and the destiny can change.